Is college worth it in 2020? No. Okay, fine. It's a little bit more complicated than that. But over the past few decades, there has been a lot of circumstances and factors that have exposed flaws and problems with the higher education system. And how universities and colleges are operating under COVID-19 is only accentuating these flaws. And I think that a lot of these flaws are starting to outweigh the benefits of going to college. And the first factor is the obvious one, which is the unbelievable increase in the price of college over the past few decades. The average American family cannot afford the cost of college. And because of this, this either completely deters students from going to college or it puts students in massive debt after they graduate. And a lot of colleges are trying to combat this by devoting a large part of their endowment towards financial aid, which is great. That's the reason I'm able to go to college. I'm a low-income student, and if it was not for my college's generous financial aid, I know I would not have been able to go. However, most colleges in the United States do not have the funds to devote that much money to financial aid, and even worse, most colleges do not follow the need-blind admission standard, which basically means that your ability to pay for college can be a factor of whether you get into the college at all. The second factor, which I personally think is very overlooked, is the internet. Most of what you're taught in college can be found for free or at a much lower cost on the internet. And I'm a bit biased here because I'm a computer science and economics double major, and those topics are very conducive to online learning. Also, I'm a virgin for life and I don't go outside, so I spend a lot of time learning things on the internet. I would imagine for people that are majoring in chemistry or philosophy or something like that, it would be much harder to get the same quality of education. More on that later. But in general, if you have the time to devote for it, there are dozens of online learning platforms like YouTube, Udemy, Skillshare, lynda.com, whatever it may be, that can provide very similar levels of education that you will get at college. One of the biggest problems facing colleges is the fact that they are no longer monopolies. And this is great for us, but very bad for them. There is a decent amount of institutions out there that are directly competing with the higher education system. Institutions like boot camps, crash courses, organizations like Crash.co, which place people in the job market after high school, and rising alternative education platforms. People are starting to realize that you do not have to go to college in order to build a solid career, and the higher education system is not doing a lot to adapt to that fact. The last thing is less quantitative, but I still think very relevant. So it used to be that the only real way to get educated was to go to college, and this was because there wasn't as many resources for people to self-educate. And because of this, from an employer's point of view, whether someone had or did not have a degree was a good litmus test for how competent or educated they were. And this resulted in we as a society placing a lot of emphasis on whether or not you have a degree. And even though those barriers to self-education are no longer there, that emphasis on the degree still is. And so for a lot of students, they don't go to college because they want to. They go to college because they feel they have to, just to get that piece of paper at the end of 2 or 4 years. And in addition to that, there are a lot of problems with college education. A lot of colleges have mandatory courses. A lot of students are not able to get into all the classes they want. There's a ton of stress surrounding homework and grades and everything else. It just all accumulates into education sometimes feeling like more of a chore rather than a pleasure. And that really sucks. Education is something that all of us should want to do rather than something that we feel like we have to do. So I just spent a lot of time bashing on colleges. But there are still some benefits to college that I think you can only really get in a college or college-like setting. So without a doubt, the best thing about college is going to be the people you meet. The friends you make at college can be lifelong. The professors can be resources and guides to you in many different ways. The people in your college's network, alumni, career advisors, parents of students, can be instrumental in building your career. I've had 2 internships, and the first internship came from an alum of my college, and the second internship came from a parent of a student that I tutored. And those internships have been extremely valuable to me on multiple levels, and they're extremely valuable to many other students. Another big benefit to going to college is the resources that these universities provide to their students. I mentioned before chemistry and philosophy students. It would be a much different educational experience if chemistry majors were not allowed to go into the lab, if philosophy majors were not able to go into a classroom and have a conversation about what they've learned. These sort of resources are extremely beneficial to education, and you can only really get them in a college-like environment. Side note, colleges can also provide you with resources that you don't necessarily think about. For instance, I don't have internet access in my house because I'm a broke loser.
Loser! You're a loser!
Anyway, because I don't have internet in my house, my college provided with me a free internet hotspot which allows me to connect to the internet. So colleges and institutions can be very beneficial to you in multiple ways. Lastly, you cannot understate the value of the college experience. College years are some of the best years of your life. And obviously, the college experience differs from person to person, from college to college. But just in general, being on a campus, going to dining halls, interacting with other students, being in a dorm, doing stupid that you don't tell your parents about, these things are extremely beneficial to you just on a personal level. And you can't really get that anywhere except college. Real quick before I tell you my final opinion about whether college is worth it or not. One thing that I didn't talk about when I originally recorded this video is that college graduates, on average, earn a lot more money than people that did not graduate from college. About $30,000 per year more on average. And the reason I didn't talk about it is because I wasn't sure how to present that fact to you in an honest way. And the reason I didn't really know how to present this fact is because there is a lot of really interesting research going on right now, which shows that the relationship between college graduates and higher earnings may be more correlation than causation. Meaning that a college graduate may earn more not because they have a bachelor's degree, but because college graduates in general tend to have personality traits or life circumstances that are more conducive to higher earnings. There is certainly a causation between the amount of skills you have and the amount of money you make, and you can get those skills in or out of college, but in general, college graduates do earn more money, so it is definitely worth noting. So, is college worth it in 2020? I would say that for some people, yes, and for some people, no, which is a big change, because it used to be that college was worth it for everybody. But now I think we've reached a point in society where college is more of an option rather than a necessity. If you need to get a degree in order to go to grad school, if you can go to college without accruing debt, if you don't want to enter the workplace yet, or if you just really want the college experience, then absolutely go to college. I'm sure you'll have a great time. But if you don't have a reason to go to college, please do not feel that you have to go to college. Employers really are starting to focus more on skills rather than diplomas. It is perfectly possible to achieve the same amount of success without going to college. And also, on a personal level, growing up in an inner city, growing up low income, we are often told that going to college is a great equalizer, that that'll be the stepping stone for us to achieve socioeconomic mobility. And I promise you it really is not. You can form way more success yourself just by working hard and with dedication than you can by going to college. And also there is a lot of other issues with colleges that I was not able to get into, like how colleges have a huge inclusion problem for disadvantaged students, and how there is a huge lack of intellectual diversity on campus. There's other problems that I could have talked about, but I didn't have time to get into. So like I said, please do not feel that you have to go to college. You really don't. And also, is college worth it right now with COVID going on? Absolutely not. COVID has absolutely destroyed the college experience and destroyed the interactivity that you can have on a college campus. If you're thinking about going to college, just go travel, go enter the workforce, go self-educate, go stare at a wall, do anything else. Just come back to college when the world is not trying to kill us. And that's what I think about colleges. Please be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and please be sure to share this video with anyone that you think might find this information useful. Also, please let me know in the comments what you think about everything, whether you think college is worth it, whether it's not, whether your perspective is coming from someone who went to college, didn't go to college. Please let me know what you have to say. I'm really interested to hear it. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be safe and have a good day.